I am not a fan of political correctness. I think we've overdone that. I'm not a fan of government overreach. But Jessica, tell me how this substantively will change the lives of people who are transgender, aside from the issues the governor's talking about.
It puts us at risk. Walking in, you want me to walk into a man's bathroom, and I'm okay with doing that, but it puts me at risk by getting beat up by walking in there. It puts a man who's a female-to-male transgender at risk for walking in a female's restroom. This puts us at risk. And when we're already at risk, our numbers of suicide and murder are outrageous.
Okay, so from your standpoint, I'm so glad you're here. So it's not about political correctness, right? It's not about government overreach. It's a pragmatic, real, what should we call this? A life? What should we call this?
This is protection.
A safety issue?
This is protection.
And you're a person that can protect yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But still,
it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with if the person, and we're not protecting these people that want to walk into a male's restroom or a female's restroom and molest people. That's not the protection here. The protection is for people like me who genuinely feel like I was born in the wrong body to use the restroom that I identify in public as. Now imagine if I get off an airplane, I walk into that terminal in Charlotte, and I have to go walk into the men's restroom.
Peter,
how's that going to look?
Do you feel that people of faith are somehow, or their worldview is somehow under attack in this whole process?
Well, I agree with the governor in that clip you just played that it's common sense, actually, that's under attack. Throughout human history, we have separated biological males and biological females for the purpose of some of these activities, such as bathing, dressing, and going to the bathroom. And that reflects a perfectly reasonable concern for both safety and privacy, particularly on the part of women and girls, but really on the part of everyone. Wow. And one thing that I think is an indication of how radical the transgender activists have become is that offering a generous accommodation, what I believe is a generous accommodation of either a single-user restroom or a gender-neutral restroom is considered a form of discrimination by them. Whereas I think that's actually a generous accommodation.
Is that discrimination or is that okay?
No, it's absolutely discrimination.
Okay.
Absolutely. The only thing radical...
Hang on. Again, I want to, because it gets confusing very fast.
Sure.
But doesn't that solve the safety problem for you?
In essence, a unisex bathroom would, in essence, solve that problem.
That's what I'm saying.
And you're right, yes, it would help segment that. The problem is this opens up the entire community for discrimination by all people. Just so you know, I'm Jessica Taylor. I'm an airline pilot. I am transgender. I want to know, if you can see me, first of all, what would make you uncomfortable with me using the women's restroom?
She's a very attractive woman.
Well,
very.
A lot of transgender people are not. A lot are not convincing in their presentation as the opposite of their biological sex, and so it's obvious to the people who see them that this is actually a man in a dress and not a biological woman, and that can create. I can understand how that would create fear and anxiety on the part of women and girls in a ladies' room. So,
so only well-dressed women can go into the ladies' room. Is that what you're saying? Only women that are attractive, just like the Donald Trump thing. Only women that are attractive can have these positions or use the restroom in this case.
Well, if you appear to be female, then you probably will not be challenged.
Okay, so who's going to set the standard to appearance of female? Is there going to be a TSA watching the door, the bathroom, and you're going to say, "Oh, you're not womanly enough"? I know a lot of women that are very neutral in their gender, and you're going to tell them they got to go use the men's restroom now in North Carolina? Boy, that makes sense.
The point is, this is an issue that you and other transgender people have brought on yourselves by choosing to present yourselves as the opposite of your biological sex. So this is the consequence of that choice you've made. I'm not saying you choose the feelings, but you have made the choice to present yourself that way. This is a consequence.
Okay, so with religious persecution,
to pander to this.
With religious persecution, this is what I'm subject to, is your own ability to restrict my life and to take just basic rules out of my life and make me use the men's restroom. So that's what you want me to do, is walk into an airport facility and use a men's restroom?
I gotta say,
smart?
I would be more...
Well, as I said at the outset, I think that gender-neutral restrooms or single-user restrooms are a reasonable accommodation, but in your view, that's discriminatory because it's stigmatizing.
No, what I'm saying is, why can't we just do what normal states do? We don't have to step back 30 years to accommodate the Christian religion in North Carolina.
This is an important point. The majority of states do not have any law prohibiting discrimination based on gender identity. The majority of states have no such law. So
yeah, because they don't legislate either way. You guys have gone against most legislation, and you said we don't care about your gender identity. We don't care about this stuff. We're stepping back, and we're actually making it illegal for this to take its place, which other states are moving forward with this stuff.
You guys go back into your corners, back into your corners.